Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we are doing fish and chips. Now, no matter what happens in this episode, I promise you this recipe works, okay? This is tried and true. The difference is that I'm trying it gluten-free for the first time. It's a whole thing. Anyway, we're going to start. I got some water boiling next to me, and I'm going to start by cutting up the potatoes for our chips. Once you've rinsed your potatoes off, we're going to go ahead and cut these down a little bit. The goal here is to square them off so that when you're making chips, it's just easier, right? And we can go back and shave anybody that needs shaving afterwards. And go ahead and shave off the excess. We squared off the edges to make it just a little bit easier. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Once everybody's shaved up, we're ready. We're making large potato fingers. So we're going kind of fat. To our almost boiling water, because it's not boiling yet, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt per liter. So every 4 cups of water you put in here, put a teaspoon of salt. The goal here is to have it be salty like the sea, so that it seasons the potato fully. Once our unwatched pot has started boiling, we're going to start adding our chips. We're going to boil these for about 5 minutes. And once they've been boiling for 5 minutes, you're just going to take them out, drain them a little bit, and I'm dropping them onto wax paper. We may need it. We're probably going to need a bigger cookie sheet. I thought I could get away with that half pan, but I don't think I can. You could stick this in the fridge for an hour or two. I'm going to stick this in the freezer for 1 hour, save time. This does 2 things. 1, it cools them down to a manageable temperature. 2, something about freezing them after they've cooked really does help keep them fluffy when you fry them. So that's why for this application I would prefer this size to be the standard size. Next time I'll probably use the mandolin. It'll make it a little easier. We've got 2 quarts of peanut oil heating up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit while we make our batter. So we're going to start with 1 cup of flour. I'm using gluten-free flour. Never done it that way before, so we'll see if that works. But I have done this recipe before with regular flour. It works fine. To that, we're going to add 12 ounces of beer. You can use any beer that you want. I am using this Glutenberg Stout. If you're going more traditional, a lager is fine. To that, I'm going to add 1 shot of vodka. Now, the vodka is going to evaporate out as you cook, and what that's going to do is create little air pockets that are going to be good. Finally, we're adding half a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And now we're just going to whisk everybody together. Again, you can use any beer for this. A lot of people go for a more neutral beer. For a long time, I was using Corona because I was doing my yearly coronavirus fish fry, which is very poor taste, but was delicious. So now we've got this batter formed here. We're going to let this sit for around 10 minutes while we let the oil come up for the fries. And while that's happening, we're going to dredge the fish. Then we realized we forgot our 1 teaspoon of salt, so we whisk that in too. And notice that the batter is thickening up as we wait for it, as that baking soda and that beer goes to work. I have about 1.5 pounds of cod that I have cut into manageable-ish pieces. So that's what we're working with today, and we're just dredging it in some of our flour. Get it ready to coat. Make sure you get all sides. Again, our target temperature is 350 degrees. I'm gonna stick that up there. Okay, we're ready to fry our chips. We're going for 5 more minutes of cook time. Remember, these are already cooked, so we're just getting them to a nice golden brown. Okay, my first batch is done. Look at these, man. So I'm just picking them up with my spider, give them a little shake off, putting them on another cookie sheet. I like to use foil because it makes the cleanup a little easier, but I don't think that's mandatory. I don't think that's a rule, unless we want to make it a rule. Jerkins, make that a rule. Look at these guys. Okay, now while they're hot, give them a quick pinch of salt. And now we start adding our second batch. Make sure you give these just as much of attention as you did the first batch. I'll be back in 5 minutes when these are ready. These are about halfway there. I just had one of the chips over on the rack. Oh my god, very good. If you want to beer batter these too, you can. Just make sure that you use about an extra half cup of batter. So that'll mean an extra cup of flour. Maybe slightly adjust the seasonings. They are a bit fragile, so if you throw them around a little bit, they will break. Resist temptation to eat them, because if you eat one, you'll eat them all. Now we're bringing this oil back up to temp. We're going for 375 degrees on the fish. And we are going to cook it on each side. So about 3 minutes aside. Do as I say, not as I do. So we're about at the temperature we want to be at. Time to start. Okay. So we're dunking. You're trying to dunk the whole fish in. Make sure everybody gets coated. And do your best. You know, there's going to be spots. If you rinse your hands in between, like I just did, make sure you get them dry so you don't drip water in the pan. That will not be ideal. Also, if you get big, cruddy, extra batter drip off, skim it out. If you feel like you need more than one implement when you flip it, that's fine. Oops. Okay, I probably should have cut this into a more reasonable size. That's a little whoopsie doodle. Because now I can't really flip it. it's curved on me. And, you know, do an ocular pat down on it. If it seems like it's starting to burn, take it out. It's probably done. Do it again. And while that waiting fillet is sitting there, hit it with a little salt. I might just wind up doing it for 3 minutes and call it a day. We'll see. Because I do feel like that first one got overcooked. Again, make sure you're doing the ocular pat down on them. This one here might be a little overdone. This one looks about perfect. Okay, so far I've learned the challenges to working with gluten-free batter. It's a little bit thinner than your regular batter. Seems like it cooks a little faster than your regular batter, but it is crispy and it looks delicious. So, I'm gonna call win. Nope, I lost a bunch of the coating on this one. Sad. So we want to make sure that she's hit 145 degrees. And she is not. Okay. Seems safe. Don't forget to turn off the heat when you're done. Now you're ready to serve it. Make yourself a big pile of fries. Sorry, make yourself a big pile of chips. Throw that fish on there. Get some lemon wedges, some tartar. You're ready. Like, subscribe, click the little bell, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Bye.